I think depending on that person's cultural background. Myself, I grew up in Asian, China. I received medical education there, but I did my PhD in Germany. It's a very different culture. And here now I'm training in North America or US. I think in general the PR here more direct, so I approach in a more direct way. And in Asian culture, I think that's slightly different. In Germany, it's a different story as well. My first stop was Germany, and the first thing I did was learn the language. From the language, actually, you can learn a lot of culture and history as well. There's, in terms of the language, there's always a formal way to approach people, or there's a casual way. Actually, that's already embedded in the language. For example, if I talk to older people, or I approach with a senior level hierarchy above me, usually I address this person as they. That's already in the language. For example, if I say, how are you doing? I would say, we get as evening. But if I talk to a peer, then usually it's I should address with do's, which is we get as dear. So that's part already in the language. I think learn those also easily get to know the culture and to know how to interact with the people there.
You really need to understand the way they are thinking so that you really get into their system. So basically my strategy is I let them talk about 15 minutes, and then I understand that how they really think and what they are strong at it, and what is their main focus. Then I could communicate more easily, and we could we could understand better.
I basically have two mentors. One is American. I have another mentor who is from Belgium. I think the way I approach asking them for things, it's a little bit different. So the mentor who is from Belgium, I think the vibe that I get is he's a lot more casual, and I can really just walk up to him and directly ask him for some resources or for some help. I think for my American mentor, I think I would usually make sure that I will have be very clear on what I'm asking, and it's either try to find a time where he is free, or I would try to craft an email that that is more proper, that's more formal. When I ask.
I think preparation and practice are everything. So I am in the STEM field. My current and previous bosses have very much been very logical people. So if you make a good case, let's say we need a new piece of equipment, or on the opposite end, maybe there's an experiment they wanted you to do, but you don't think it's very reasonable, or you even need to ask for a raise, then putting things down in numbers in a very factual manner helps. So that would be the preparation part. I would also recommend people practice these talks either in their head or speaking out loud, maybe with family members, and try and also put themselves in the shoes of the opposite side, as always. Maybe try and come up with some of the arguments they may say, so you can kind of play that conversation in your mind and practice. So preparation and practice. So with any cultural or background differences, it's always important to do a little pre-check for yourself. What's your own implicit bias? What may be their implicit bias? And try to be very aware of that even before the conversation starts. So that's, I would say, step one. How to lead the conversation. Even though I've been told that I come off as confident, I am actually relatively anxious before meetings like that. But I try and stay calm and remind myself that generally in academia, your boss is on your side. They want you to be successful. They want to help you. So particularly if it comes to a pay raise or a negotiation of sorts, to remind yourself that you're probably on the same side, and speak in a calm, confident manner, and it's likely that the conversation will go well. Anytime I have a, more meaningful, factual meeting, and it may be about just my research and how the project is going, or it may be about discussing how many students I should be mentoring or salary, I do like to send a follow-up email, giving a short summary of everything we discussed. So it kind of timestamps what we negotiated and talked about, has the key points of what we talked about. And when something is written down, obviously it has more power. So for example, if you were told that you're getting a certain salary and you're happy with that salary, I recommend following that up with an email and putting those numbers on paper, so to speak.
Sometimes your PI might be like initially not agree with you because they have a lot of other stuff to do as a PI. So but give them some time and then follow up with them. And my approach is usually we have a lab meeting every week, and I try to tease out my research result, and then lead them why I understand that, why I want to go that way, and then is that possible, and then and also I'm getting the support from the other lab member, and they are oh, that might be really interesting, and then that's a different thing in my the way I push a little bit to my PI gently without hurting him. So yeah, that's my usual way of follow up with him. Here's what's going on.